Hello makers. To make the card that I am going to attempt, I wanted to use the new Scarecrow Halloween die from Whimsy Stamps release of August 20th. And he looks a little kind of scary to me, and I generally don't do like scary horror-y Halloween stuff. I do more Disney happy, not so scary Halloween. So I'm going to attempt to make him not so scary. And in doing that, I am going to need this stamp set, which is the Chills Word Die Set WSD 483, because I'm going to cut out some, I don't have an alphabet yet, and so I'm going to cut out some of the letters on here. And what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to have the Scarecrow giving out free hugs, like he has his arms out, so he's going to be giving out free Halloween hugs. And so this has the letters for hugs. We've got an S, we've got a U, we've got an H, and we've got a G. So, and an exclamation point, so it can say Halloween hugs. He needs a background, and he fits on an A2 card. And I have this background that I will talk about in a few minutes as to how I made it, but I have had this background for years and haven't used it. So I'm going to use it on this card, I think. And the other things that I'm going to be using are some Distress Mixed Media Heavy Stock. That's what I'm going to cut the Scarecrow out with. And I may be using the SLIMLINE Fence die set, because I might make kind of a, like a hugging booth. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I may not be able to fit all of this onto a little card. So this may be just like whatever, or I might just make a little sign under him that I can put, you know, hugs, and then see if I can find something that would say like 31 cents or something like that. So I think I might be using that. Or if I decide not to do that, I might put some pumpkins from the Build a Pumpkin Patch die set WSD 407. So I may be using that instead. We'll just see. You know how this goes now. You've worked with me for a while as I put these together. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to talk through this background with you and let you know how I made it. In full disclosure, I made this background back when Distress Oxides were first released. It was the first Halloween that the Distress Oxides were out that year. They came out at CHA in January, and so I made a bunch of backgrounds that I was using for another Scarecrow die at the time, or a stamp or something Scarecrow-y. So I have just had this kind of, I save extras and things like that because I might want to use them sometime. So I decided I want to use this. The base is Distress Mixed Media Heavy Stock. As I said before, it is actually my favorite paper. I think paper makes all the difference when you are creating, especially with inks and mixed media. And so for me, the best paper to do that with, especially when I'm working with water, is going to be the Distress Mixed Media Heavy Stock. It just works the best for the techniques that I use. So then the colors, and I'm just guessing at this because, again, this has been years since I made this, but I believe it was a limited release of colors. So I'm not really sure that this is exactly right, but it'll be close. And you can use these, they're all out now. So Dusty Concord in the corner, and then going into Faded Jeans and Cracked Pistachio, Spiced Marmalade, and ending with a little mustard seed. You can use either the regular blending tool, or you can use one of the domed foams. I did it. Once it is dry, I completely dried it with my heat tool. Then once my blend is dry, you want to have a spray bottle, and I use the Distress sprayer because I like that I can get just general overall spritz, or if I want, I can just halfway pull it and I can get big droplets, because sometimes I want big droplets. With this one, I wanted overall spritz just to get a little bit of that oxidation going. And you can see all of the little splotches and things like that here and there where I got some oxidation happening, which is the beautiful part about the oxides. You do want to kind of see that. Now I let that dry again, and then I got out my water brush. And so you fill this with water, and you can see this has water in it. And then I just started kind of outlining what I thought a cloud would look like, just with water. I didn't use any ink or anything like that. I just outlined it, and then I filled it in, and then I let that dry, and I helped with the heat tool and dried it up. And you can see how when you do that, it oxidizes and it makes that really cool edge around the clouds, which I think is just remarkable, and kind of one of the beauties of oxide. All right, that is basically how I made this background. And so it's, you know, each one's going to be unique and different based on how you draw your clouds and how you make your blend. Okay, I wanted this to kind of look like the sun was setting over on this side, and so that's why this corner is darker. Two that are colored, and I decided to color both of them because then I could kind of decide which pieces I wanted to cut off to layer. So this is going to be my bottom layer, and I went through with black soot and kind of darkened it a little bit since it is going to be in the background. And then on this one, I'm going to cut off the hat, and I'm going to cut off the birds and cut off the hands so that I will be layering the hat, and I'll be layering the word Halloween across. And then the rest of it will kind of be just a little tiny bit behind it. I can put the bats on up here, and then I just need to, actually, and I made two corners yellow. So this is mustard seed, and this is wild honey and scattered straw. And I think that the wild honey and scattered straw is the color I'm going to go with for behind the face of the scarecrow to make him a little brighter and not quite so dark. So I'm going to do that, and then I need to make my decision as to if I'm going to make a little sign that says hugs or if I'm going to do the pumpkins. And I'm kind of leaning toward the pumpkins at this point. So we'll see what I end up with on the next round. thought I'd take a minute to catch you up. So still have the same background, and I cut apart the 2 die cuts that I had. So I have my scarecrow ready to give out some hugs. So then I decided I need to make a hugging booth. So I cut some of the Whimsy stamps. This is the fence die set. And you can see that I have been using brown ink all over these. So I used some Distress Archival ink and ground espresso, and I rubbed it on where all of the lines were on these, and cut out quite a few boards to make. I cut 2 long ones, and then I cut the 4 small ones. And then you may notice on these that I have a little bit of hardware on them, and that is also in the die set. There are 4 little screw heads, and then there's some different sizes of grass. I just cut a bunch of the 2 smaller ones. And for his booth, so I'm gonna kind of put these a little bit crooked like that, and then I'll put one across here so they'd be a little bit crooked. You're not going to see it past here. And then I'm going to put these on and then trim off the bottom so it's going off the page or off the card. And I'm not going to put those exactly perfect. And then I will have him popped up a little bit, ready to give hugs. And for the word hugs that I'm going to put on here, I just made some orange paper to match. And I used the Chills, Shivers, and Goosebumps die, and I cut out the letters. So I will trim with my scissors the G from Goosebumps, let's see, I need hugs. So H from Shiver, U from Bumps, G from Goose, and then probably this S over here seems like it is the least connected, or maybe this one for Chills. And then I lost the part of my exclamation point, but I may cut that again so that it says hugs. And then I was looking and I found this die set that is called Grave Epitaphs, and it goes with the Build a Grave die set. So I had this stamp set, and so it says Fester and Rot, and I thought I might put Festers, and then the letters free are on there, so I might cut them out so that it said Festers free, and then it'll say hugs. And I would have to put this actually up a little bit more so that you could see that. And then he will be down a little bit more. So his name will be Fester. It'll say Festers free hugs. And so I'll just kind of, and even though Festers together as one, I think I will cut the letters apart, and I'll just put them all so that it doesn't look like, you know, I cut them out of the same word. So Festers free hugs. And that's where we're going to go from there. I'll just then throw a bunch of these kind of behind. I decided against the pumpkins. I think this will be fine. So I'll just put a little bit of grass on there. And yeah, I think that's good. I think he looks kind of like a happy guy, Fester, ready to give some hugs. So I like that. I have everything glued on, and I went ahead and stamped. And I don't have an apostrophe there, but I'm just leaving it because it kind of looks just like an old, you know, maybe a scarecrow put it together. And cut out the letters for hugs. I added the grass and attached the whole little stand. And then I had some bats. When you get this die, it comes with bats. And so I went ahead and added some of the bats in the corners, and then sewed around it. And I just only did a little bit of messy stitching here, down here in the bottom where the grass was, and the rest of it I just sewed around the very edge. And then I put some pop dots, and I had to cut a bunch of them because it's really tiny. So I have some black or foam dots. so that he will kind of stand up away a little bit, and that kind of gives him a little bit of definition, I think, being popped up just a little bit. And I can go ahead and pull him down so that you can see where it says Fester's Free Hugs. And there we go. That will be the card. So I'm going to put it on a base. I'm going to get him put on there, and we will be finished. Here's the final product, featuring this Halloween Scarecrow die by Whimsy Stamps that was released on August 20th. And I really think that he turned out to be a really cute, happy looking Halloween Scarecrow who is ready to give anybody a free hug. Now, I want to thank you so much for following along with me on this video tutorial. If you have any questions, as always, just pop over to my blog at playswellwithpaper.blogspot.com, and there's a little contact section in the right hand column that will email me. And so if you have any questions or need anything clarified, just go ahead and contact me that way, and I will be glad to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much again for following along with me in today's tutorial, and I hope that you have a very crafty day.